What it do, people? What it do? Welcome to the flow. You know what it is. We about to record this cool episode. We have subbed out Katie for Caleb this week, so y'all have no idea what's fixing to happen. Don't tell Katie. She gonna be like, "What are y'all doing to my show?" I was like, "I don't know. It was Caleb's idea." That's what I always say. That's what I always say in the Slack. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was Caleb's idea. Don't blame me." All right, so let's get it ready. Um, I always do this my ritual, Caleb. You gotta deal with it. I gotta drink my water. I gotta hit my woosah. I gotta remind people if they got a question to drop it in the chat. It is extremely helpful if you throw a little Q in the front of that sucker so I can see it because I can't see. But all else is good. Everybody is able to throw in whatever you want to throw in. Gretchen is in the building. Hello, Gretchen. Why are you drinking Survivor water?
I went to the Survivor Ultimate Fan Cafe after camp and I got a Survivor water bottle. I did just lose my camp water bottle, but it's in safe hands, so it'll get back to me eventually. It's just in
Oh,
divine timing, I guess.
dude, I didn't think about this, but I need to find a matte black Odwalla. Okay, let me. I know you. This is your responsibility right here. I know, because I know how you are. I seen your other one that you almost lost with the little dots on it.
It's lost, it's gone.
It's okay. See, listen. I because I had laser engraving company, I engraved hydro flasks. I had legit hundreds of hydro flasks. Even after I shut the company down in order to come and work at Ecamm, I still was sitting on like 3, 4 cases of hydro flasks. I was giving them away for free. I got everything from the jumbos to the smalls, all kinds. I got like leftover Yetis. I got everything. So when these came out, I was like, kind of don't need it. I got every kind of hydro flask in the sun. And then, of course, through all of the events and stuff that we do, whatever, keep getting more water bottles. And then last year, I bought this, which is incredible because of the little blinky light. But once you get the hang of drinking enough water, you kind of wasted $80. You don't need to see the light no more. So I was like, I'm not buying no odd wallet. That's just stupid. Fam, the way that this is so much better than any other bottle, and it seems dumb. Is it cold? Yes. Is it hot? Yes. But the fact that I don't got to do anything to drink out of this sucker, tilt it, hold it, whatever, it's so dumb. I can't believe we're spacing out about bottles, but I always thought these were ignorant until I got one. And now I get the obsession, and I want an all matte black one.
They make them. They do make them.
I
It's
know.
a beautiful choice to have it all matte black. Oh, voila.
And the bad part though is if you drop it on the floor in a plane, you ain't gonna see it because I fly it overnights. All right, let's go. Oh man, I talked to Caleb. You were getting hot. I know it's gonna be hot. I be freezing in the basement, but let me loosen up the old sweater better. Here we go. Everybody, we counting it down. In five, four. Aloha, Flow Riders, and welcome to the Flow. I am your host, Doc Rock, and today we got a dope specialty guest. It's my partner in crime, my coworker, my bestie from another. I can't say that on this show. It rhymes with bestie. Men, you understand? um, this is awesome. Like, I can't believe we've done this long. And I know you've been on my show, but we didn't do Flow together. And Caleb has been on a crazy amount of inspiration and just hard work over like the last year. Mary Lou started something. Mary Lou was like, Caleb, read this book. And Caleb was like, whatever, okay, just for you. And then they blew up. Like they did something. I don't know what the heck they've been drinking. I don't know what kind of like injection happened, but somehow Mary Lou's homework turned into releasing the dragons, like brah, rah, rah, like a dungeon dragon. So that's probably not the intro we're supposed to do, but who cares? Because today we're talking about being seriously unserious with my fam, Caleb. What's cracking, Caleb?
Hey, I'm so excited to be here on my first ever flow. I
Right?
uh
A year and a half later.
right, I'm like
No.
I write all the emails for the flow newsletter and I've never been invited once. That's crazy.
You don't need no
And
invitation. Just kick the door in.
I didn't have anything to talk about until now. But yeah,
Oh,
it was I started making video for me like a little almost a year ago officially. I started a little over a year ago writing newsletters um just for fun. And then I started the video portion and I joined Mary Lou's video creator club, which is so awesome. And I told Mary Lou, I'm like, I really want to go through the artist way, as I was telling everyone in my life for like a month. And then Mary Lou was like, all right, well, we'll just do it. And then it became like an entire group challenge that I was the only person that stuck to. And halfway through, I did try to quit. And Mary Lou was like, you are the reason we're doing this. So you can't quit. You
I
started
should
this.
have
You have
warned
to
you.
finish it.
Don't piss her off. I should have warned you. I seen it in real life. Y'all don't want to see that. Let me let you know. It's not a good look.
So I finished it and it did change my life. But it didn't change my life because of what's in the book. It changed my life because of the intention I put into my creative practice and like what I learned for myself. Like if you go into the artist way and do the entire 12-week process with the intention to like come out a different person, you're not going to. Like if you think the book is gonna do it, you're not gonna, nothing's gonna happen. Like you
Mm.
might realize some things, but if you don't go into it with the idea of like, I need to like connect with my inner artist and like figure out what I'm trying to say and what I want to say, um, then you're not gonna get anything out of it. And I went in with the right mentality and learned so much about myself. And that's why I'm here now.
I like that. I'm gonna put a link to a book in the chat real quick. That is, I won't say it's similar. It's completely different, but it has a similar kind of effect on you. And have you ever heard of the book by Brianna West called "The Mountain Is You"?
No, I have not.
Oh, fam, I'm gonna put you on. I'm gonna send one to your house today. It turns out, yeah, it's a very similar situation into what you just said about, okay, so like so many people sign up for these courses, right? Like, okay, like, oh, we're gonna take the podcast course, we're gonna do that, right? We can go to Skillshare, we're gonna get Mary Lou's, editing course, or even for me back in the day, I took Ali Abdal's PTYA part-time YouTuber Academy, and I knew before I went in that I already knew what was in the course because I had been doing YouTube before Ollie's ever stepped onto the platform. And when I went in there, honestly, I kind of went in as a spy so that I can, make something similar. And then the first thing I realized is way too much work. I don't want to deal with that much folks like that. And then the second thing I realized that the course ain't going to change you. You have to change you. The course is going to give you guidance and direction or whatever, but you still got to be on. And so, in a way, what you just said is not dissimilar from buying a Peloton. And where's your coat right now, Peloton owners? Where is your coat? If there is a coat on your Peloton, you know what we're talking about. I'm just
You
saying.
need to
If it
go
ain't
ahead
a
and list that
coat,
on Facebook
it's some
Marketplace.
extra stuff, that blanket, them packet them, all the bags you pick up, the tote bags we got, like, your Peloton is your tote bag rack or whatever. Yeah, that's what it is.
You need to
It
go ahead and
happens.
get
It
that off,
happens.
list it on Facebook Marketplace, and
Yeah.
accept that the $60 a month you're paying for the Peloton membership will be better spent at a Planet Fitness. At
Or
least
on
it's
ChatGPT and just get some more work done. You know what I'm saying? You can spend it on a Doc Rock memberships. Let me put my foot where. Never mind. Um, so the thing that I was curious about is, and I guess enlighten the people. I believe we've had these conversations in the car, but what made you start seriously unserious?
yeah, so I started Seriously Unserious as a way of like I I was at Craft and Commerce. It's ConvertKit, Now Kit, their conference, not this last year, but the year before that. So 2024. And I knew that I needed to create, but I hate being on camera, or I did in 2024. And it was like my number one excuse was like, I don't want to be on camera to create content. Like I have ideas and I have things that I want to do, but I like creating on camera is not easy for me. So I was like, well, do you know what is easy for me? Writing stuff down. I love writing. I can write an email in 30 minutes, and like send it out. So I just started taking an hour every Saturday to write 2 emails from my notes app. So I started writing down funny things or like things that I was noticing in my life that made me giggle. And I would just write a newsletter out to like the 30 people on my list. And then I was like, oh, this is really fun. I love being goofy on here. It like evolved from here's what I'm doing in my life every week to here's like funny ideas that I had every week. So like last week, I sent an email out about what it would be like if the Teletubbies were on Real Housewives. Like just something goofy. Like what if the Teletubbies were on their own season of Real Housewives? Or like I wrote the week before that about Starbucks and their protein coffee that they just launched.
Oh my
Uh,
God, we saw that.
because
We saw that in Seattle. I think Jill drank it. I don't, or
well,
Daniel, one of
because
them two.
it was trending on TikTok. Like protein is just trending generally in the
A
health space.
hundred. There's
Um,
protein flavored protein.
Right, exactly. And then uh there was a bunch of people like baristas that were making the beverage wrong. They were just using the protein milk instead of like mixing it in the proper ratio. So people were getting like ricotta coffee given to them because the protein milk was like curdling and making cheese when they applied heat. So I like was like, I'm gonna go and try it and make a video about it. But like that is not where I started. I started with like, what is an hour a week I can give myself to create and release my creative juices and start them. And then 6 months from then, I was like, I want more people to be on my newsletter and read my funny stuff. So I started making videos about the things that I would write and posting them on the internet. And then I was like, well, I don't really know how to like describe what I'm doing. It's just like whatever I'm making is just like really unserious content. It's nothing serious at all, ever. And then we were talking in group. I'm like, yeah, I'm a seriously unserious person. Like nothing I ever say is like coming from a place of like genuine curiosity in my emails. Like unless it's like an unserious State of the Union, which is like an email I write once a quarter, I'm never saying anything that's like profound. I don't want to. Like it's not what I want my content to be about. And that's how the name came around. And I rebranded it from there. And I did my first zine like a couple months ago. I'm working on zine 2 now and kind of created this club of people that get emails every Sunday to help them fight off Sunday scaries and focus on like the goofy part of life. Because I really believe that what you do from 5 to 9 is what makes your 9 to 5 great. So the more that people like are trying to fill their 5 to 9 with side hustles instead of fun and play, it like actively impacts and drags down the work that they do that should be changing the world.
Correct. 100%. Because, strangely enough, and it sounds crazy, and I know everybody going to say, oh, no, not me. Lies. That impacts your worldview. So it can cause you to wake up the next day in that funk of, oh my God, something fitting to happen, right? Like, I know that once I started the 365 challenge, then I was normally creating videos during the time I would yell and scream at the TV about pumpernickel. But now, because I'm creating content in that window and, farting around in my studio, I still see what goes on. I just tend to watch it in shorter YouTube clips, taking a dump, waiting for something, whatever. I don't sit there and spend at least like an hour and a half to 2 hours of the TV yelling at whatever the heck is going on. And I mentioned yesterday to the group of friends that there's legit two types of folks in the world, right? They're the folks who will spend an hour a day complaining about what's wrong in all myriad sorts of situations. And then there's the
Okay, we've
I thought it
lost
was
Doc.
me.
No, it was
Oh
Doc.
my gosh, it's always me. And I am like, well,
I think
my
he's
internet.
back. No, you're fine. You're back, Doc? We have no audio. What's your over under on him remembering the thought?
Mm, all I remember the last thing he said was myriad, so I'm thinking we have 5 minutes. No,
No
we can't
audio.
hear you.
Nope. I'm reading his lips for everyone. He's saying, "Can you hear me now?" And I'm like, "Nope, not yet."
Dang, that's tough, bro.
Yep.
I'll be
I
right
was just
back.
gonna
I'm gonna
tell
change
him
my
to do
lighting.
the same exact thing. The fun part is like, how am I gonna edit this?
Oh, you got it.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo, I have no idea what crashed, and there is nothing on this machine. Like this machine is basically nuked and paved, sort of brand new, not a lot popping off. I have no idea why I would do that. Anyway, so I do remember my thought. I was just saying that, it's so easy to spend, a lot of people spend more than an hour a day thinking about what's wrong with the world. And then there's the people that spend 10 minutes a day thinking about what's possible. And ask me which one of those people is living a better life. Like, legit, it's such a huge thing to think about, like, oh, social media is bad and this is bad and blah, 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 blah. And if you're in that frame of mind, bro, that sets your tone, whether you think it does or not. Because you see a dog and you're happy, you see your grandkids and you're happy. But anything that's not positively pushing your happy button, that's all of the negative stuff. But if you flip that and especially spend a lot of time focusing on yourself, and what's dope about your life, yo, the rest of it starts to fall into place because now you see lights in places you aren't normally looking. Right? When
Yep.
you think everything outside is dark and your only happiness is in your house, then you stay in there and then you go outside and then I'm afraid someone's gonna rob me. Don't nobody want your stuff, dog. Like, sorry, Brandon, but like for the most part, don't nobody want your stuff. Like mind your business, go have some fun. All right, so I have one last question because you said something that really sort of stuck to me. And I'm curious about this because number one, my bestie, other bestie, is Lou, and unfortunately, she and I have an addiction to the camera. So, what is it that makes a person say, "I don't like being on camera"? Like, where did that come from? I'm just curious.
It was like never about me not like being on camera, I guess,
That's what
for
I thought. That's what I
lack
wanted to
of
hear.
better words. Like I don't have a problem getting on camera and talking. Like I mean, I've done podcasts and videos with Ecamm for forever. It's not about that. It was just like I don't have something to say on camera. Like I don't think the video content is what would make me happy. Like it doesn't, my brain doesn't start with let me record this.
You hear that, Mary Lou? My brain doesn't start with "let me record this." Mary Lou brain started with "let me record this with three angles."
Right. I'm like my brain has like gotten there, but my brain starts with that's so funny. What if I like I should write that down and then it's like, well, now I'm riffing on it for a little bit. So I'm like, let me write down some of the riffs that I did. Like if I go into my notepad and pull up like the things that I've written down, um okay, this is my last note. Diner themed shoot and then release exclusive diner mug with lipstick stain and sticker. Like not funny, but I'm like, that would be so fun to like I went and the reason I wrote this down was because I went to a diner on Sunday. I got a mug that wasn't washed well and there was lipstick on it. And I instead of asking for a new mug, I just put a straw and drank the coffee out of it because I don't care. But I'm like, but that's so diner core to have a lipstick stained mug. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
those are the things
100%.
where I'm like, I'm just experiencing life and writing it down and then circling back to it.
Yeah. And it's funny because now that I might be speaking sideways, y'all can tell me if I'm differently wrong, but I feel like now that the technology for all of the commercials about like it doesn't come off, look, it lasts all day, it's a shine that all day long, that it's harder for the general run it through the hot wash. You know, we have that little machine and it just a
Mhm.
tray slides it through. I don't think it takes it off right away. It kind of needs something that really debonds that grease, right? And so it may have been clean with the hottest water possible, but the new technology make that joint stay stronger. So now the surfactant companies have to make something that dissolves CoverGirl or a Chanel number 16, whatever that color is. I don't know, something red, I'm assuming. Anyway, so you you went into this mindset a little bit in order to help people learn that play and intentional play is completely different from chaos and laziness. And I kind of like that because I feel like when we get together, yo, we're full clown nonstop. However, we're getting crazy amount of work done.
Yeah.
And I think it drives some of our coworkers insane because they look like we goofing off, but we actually handling our business, and everybody else be like, "Oh my God, the world's going to collide and it's going to crash and whatever." And that's just not me. Like I have never been sky's going to fall. Like this is going to sound hella dark, but under serious gunfire and bombing, I'm still like I'm walking out of here today because it's not today's not my day. Like I just don't think about it like, oh my God, I'm gonna catastrophize. So I think maybe that pisses people off where they're pissed off that there's something happening and I'm still like, all right, let's go. But traffic though, traffic messes me up. I don't know why. I can do Warzone. Traffic, nah. But what is it about you that made you come to this conclusion that like intentional play is the answer? Because I love this.
Well, it was a lot of life learning and listening to Doc, unfortunately. Because I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago where I was just so bent out of the frame over something that did not matter at work. And Doc was like, one day when you're older, you're gonna realize that nothing matters. And then when that you realize that, your life is gonna be so much better. And
Oh,
I was like, wow, that sucks that I have to wait until that happens. And so like anytime I would get bent out of the frame at work, I would literally be like, oh, I just wish I didn't care like so much about this. And it's not that I'm like releasing the importance of my job or like releasing the fact that I care about it. It's that there's so many things in my life that I don't have control over, but the only thing that I always have control over is my perspective and my ability to enjoy the moment. And so it's like I'm almost 30 and I know that if I'm not having fun, that I can remove myself from any situation that I'm in where I'm not having fun, or I can
correct.
find a way to have fun. And if you want me to show up and be my best version of myself, it means that I should be having fun doing it. Because if it's not
Yes.
fun, I don't want to be there. And I
Yes.
am at the place in my life with my finances, with my relationships, with my job, with my passions, that if I am not having fun, I don't want to do it. And I don't have to. I have the freedom to say no. I'm not having fun anymore. I'm gonna go. Um, and so when I realized like that portion, it was what gave me permission to be like, oh, why don't I have fun at work all the time? Or like, oh, I have more fun writing emails in the morning when I'm having coffee than I do in the afternoon. So why do I go ahead and stop writing emails in the afternoon and start writing emails in the morning? Why don't I change my workflow? So it's like, okay, if I send an email out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that means that my Monday and my Friday are going to be my busy days. I'm never going to schedule a meeting on Monday or Friday. So that way I never have to worry about conflicts if I take a long weekend. I am always going to start those days at a coffee shop. So I have a reason to get out of bed on the days where it feels hard to get out of bed. I'm like gamifying every aspect of the things that I don't want to do in my life because for me, it makes it easier to show up and have fun and be an enjoyable person to be around when I take time to find the things that I love and put them in and nest the things I don't like around them.
Yeah, I love this idea. It's this you man you said something super important, and that is about understanding it's your perspective, it's how you see it. Like we could be in a 10-foot room with 5 feet of water and go, oh my God, when the water gets to 6 feet, we're drowning. Or you can be like, yo, let's grab a bucket and start throwing and let's see who could throw the most buckets, right? Let's get a Home Depot bucket so we can throw it faster. Like it's just a different approach. Cause yeah, if you look at it, and of course this is super cliche, like, oh my God, this is a 1,000-mile walk. Yeah, but we can knock it out like, 1 mile at a time. Heck, that's why I said for my 365, don't do a 365-day challenge. Do a 3-day challenge 130 times.
I just watched this crazy YouTube video, as I so often do, where this person ate beans every day until he ran a marathon. And it wasn't about how many days he had until he ate the beans. It was how many cans of beans he had to eat. So he's like, you can't eat like your body weight in beans in one sitting. You have to think
Yeah.
about it from like the can of beans that I'm gonna eat. Like I can only eat the amount of beans I'm gonna eat by can. So he just numbered all the cans and he just was like, all right, this is can number one. Like, and was eating 5 cans of beans every day, and that's all he ate.
Yo,
Um,
fam's fiber intake is on point though.
right, crazy. But and so I'm like, that's kind of the mentality I have where it's like, I can't change the fact that I have to have a job for the foreseeable future. Like there's mostly nothing I can do to change the fact that I have to work. And also the times where I've taken a ton of time off of work, I find a way to assign myself work. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that working isn't the problem. The mindset is. Like
Correct.
being on camera was never the problem. The mindset was. And so when I realized, hey, the thing that I enjoy doing is writing newsletters and I can write two in an hour, then that meant I could write one for this week and then I could write the next week's email. And then I could add another hour of free time in my week and look at next week's email and be like, all right, what are the things in this email that are worth promoting or sharing about on social media or like creating a video around?
I
And
like
then I
this.
would spend an hour creating a video. And then I had a social media strategy to support my newsletter.
Like this. I like this. All right, so we're gonna get people out here having fun. What would you say is the best way to get it started? Like, how do you help someone shake this seriousness? Because I believe, similarly to you, that I was telling somebody this yesterday. He's a relatively new Ecamm user, and his first thought was like, "How do I get remote producer, and how do I hire somebody to make my show?" And I was like, "Yo, pump your brakes, Poppy. Everybody downloads Ecamm, and they want to go straight to driving F1, but you still on learner's permit. What you should do is 5 or 6 shows with you and your best friend just drinking a beer and talking smack. You can delete them, but just so you can learn how to use the program. Because even if you're going to hire somebody else, it's helpful if you know how to use the program. But everybody wants to come out of the gate creating ESPN, pardon the interruption, or, some other, Andy Cohen, Bravo, throw a couple glasses of wine around. And it was like, nah, fam, start with what we're doing. Just two people talking on the channel. Like, start with that. And then, of course, so the next question is, well, how do we get somebody to design a dope overlay? You don't. You just use a basic overlay because your goal in the beginning is to learn what you're doing. And this overlay looks cool, but it is just a gradient background, two windows and the logo. You can ignore the QR code, but that's just two logos if you think about it. So this is actually a relatively simple layout. It doesn't make the conversation any more terrible. Matter of fact, make the conversation better because you're not busy staring at a bunch of things twirling around on the screen. You're looking at two extremely cute people explaining you how to get your act right. So I think, and so like, yeah, how do we help people shake this concept of I gotta be quote unquote professional?
I would say there's three different ways to do it. So if you're in the audience right now and you're not sure which one you want to do, pick one of these three ways. At first, I would write down 10 goals you had when you were a kid of like what you wanted to be when you grew up. And when you have those 10 ideas or those 10 like professions or jobs that you wanted when you wanted to be up, when you wanted to grow up, find one action item that you could take for the next 10 weeks to take one step towards each of those goals. So if you wanted to like be a rock star growing up and playing guitar, then take an action item on that. I don't care if it's buying Guitar Hero and playing Guitar Hero this week, or if it's like getting one voice lesson and taking one voice lesson, even if you're bad. Like you can do anything. Or if it's going to karaoke, like there are things that you can do to like fulfill that need of an inner child or that goal you had when you were young that will help you engage your core of play again. Another thing you
Yes.
can do is get comfortable with failure because failure is not a bad thing. Every the easiest way you can like identify failure and redirect it in email marketing is seeing unsubscribes. People will unsubscribe for every email I send at work, always. It just
Yeah.
is the nature of how email works. It doesn't mean that your email was bad. It doesn't mean that you were sending too many emails. There's literally no meaning to the amount of unsubscribes that you get. The reality is when someone leaves your list, it means that your list is more aligned with your core
With your
audience.
people, correct. And
And
I
so,
have
like,
accidentally unsubscribed to lists before because I
right,
have a software, same box. It's very easy to actually do it. And I'm like, oops, I didn't mean to do that, but it's too late.
right. And it's like, it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. So, like, what might be wired as a failure to you doesn't mean that it's a failure. If you go to a comedy
Correct.
show and you watch someone bomb, that's not a failure. It's uncomfortable, but most things are in life when you do poorly at them. Doesn't
That's a
mean
stepping stone.
like like that person could have been there at that comedy night just testing out new jokes to see what sticks for their next routine. It could be a night for them where they are truly testing and playing with new ideas and you just saw one part of their journey. So like find some things that you're scared to do and get comfortable failing at them as option number 2. And then option number 3, option number 3 would be to spend time coming up with ideas every day. So if you are someone that's making funny content or like wants your content to be funnier, you should be spending time every day writing 10 jokes or 10 funny ideas. So like with my newsletter, when I have my newsletter topic, I will sit and I will write 10 jokes on that topic until I feel like I have enough. And then when I sit and I draft, I take those 10 jokes into a document at the bottom and then I just write all the segues in between the jokes. Like when I'm writing script, so that makes it easier for me to record content, to write my content, like all of it is done. My content is funnier, more shareable. But also, if you're thinking about it from a perspective of a podcast, sit down. Every time you record a podcast topic, you should have 10 to 20 ideas for a topic ready to go. And you should think about which one resonates and which one you could talk about for an hour before you start recording. Don't let that stop you, but there's no reason that you can't come up with 10 or 20 podcast ideas. They don't have to be good ideas. They don't have to be great ideas. They can even be the worst ideas. But I'm just
Facts.
encouraging you to stop using AI to generate ideas for you for at least a month.
Well,
For at
because
least a month.
it doesn't align with you. I mean, okay, mine's is pretty good because I've trained it. But if you have never trained your AI, it's going to give you things that don't align with you. It's going to make you do things that you don't feel, and when you don't feel, they're going to be weird. But you just made me think of something. Okay, in a movie, if we want to show how lonely a person is, we show them standing somewhere in the rain by themselves, right? That's the quintessential. I need to show how lonely this person is. We call idea generation brainstorming. Don't go in the rain by yourself. Grab the phone, grab the Zoom, and be like, okay, there's a company that name escapes me real quick. I think it's called Boozy. but there's a company where you can send somebody a beverage, right? Let's say you partake in the alcoholic beverages, right? Like I do. I have sent Rich a bottle of whiskey because Rich really helped us out in Dallas. So I'm gonna send Rich the bottle of whiskey, and then I'm gonna be like, Rich, when you get the whiskey, call me on Zoom. All right, boom, or FaceTime, whatever. And so you get the whiskey. All right, sorry, bro, you got to crack that sucker right now. Get a glass, and then we're going to stand in the rain together. What do you mean? We're going to brainstorm ideas for 10 minutes because you just spitball them. You say them out there. I think the other curse of brainstorming, and it's going to be crazy, trying to brainstorm with this. This is cool, but it slows you down. I say brainstorm with a video or a recorder and just talk it out because you can move quicker and then you can stick in your little interstitials. So when Caleb says, I want to make a video that's recording a podcast of us riding a tandem bike, and then you'd be like, wait a minute, but Doc knee don't work, so we got to get a tandem electric bike. Oh, that would be funny. Like, see our two huge asses on a tiny bike trying to record a podcast with like some weird, like Swiss arms connected with cameras, but that would be mad funny. And what happens is you will start with your friend. Your friend could be like, no, player, because you got to remember this, you got to think about the lighting, so forth, etc. But it will cause you to have a little bit more fun. So, like, if you are really that kind of stuck, don't brainstorm by yourself. Call somebody and brainstorm out loud together, because that's what we do when we have our marketing meetings, right? We try to come up with ideas. I come up with an idea, and you and Paul and Jill and Katie shoot it down.
Listen, sometimes your ideas are bad, and bad
Shut up.
ideas are great. Bad ideas are great because they start a domino effect of ideas. It's not about the quality of ideas that you get, it's about the quantity. Like, I think you use the like free throw analogy all the time. Of like, if you take 100 shots, and you hit 10, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's an incredible percentage. So that's getting 100 reps in doesn't necessarily look like, for a lot of people, creating 100 videos. You'll get to 100 videos eventually. But if you started coming up with 10 ideas every time you recorded a video, that would change the way that your videos turned out every time. Does it make sense? Like, because instead of just recording 10 videos and posting 10 videos and having one that sticks, you're thinking through 10 different ideas every time you record. So you're picking the best one out of 10 every time. So now the 10 you post, you're probably landing about 3 or 4 instead of one, because you took time to idea and generate ideas and think through hooks. When I record something, I record it, I say, I probably record it 3 times when I'm recording a short or a reel. I will say exactly what I think I should say off the top of my head first. If I stumble or I repeat, I pause and I re-say it because I can just edit it later. And then inevitably in the first recording, I will say a better hook than what I said for the first time. And I'll re-record it with the hook that I came up with on the fly. And then I will watch it and I will say, okay, does this make sense? I will show a rough cut to my friend or my boyfriend and say, hey, what do you think? Is this funny? I think it's funny here, here, and here. I think these parts are bad. What do you think? And they'll give me better perspective of like, actually, like, this would be way funnier if you punched up the way that you're delivering the content. Like, I recorded a video making fun of people who wear meta glasses, not because I think that they're dumb or stupid, but because it's like, it's funny to me that you would let Facebook see everything that you're seeing when it has so many like privacy complaints in the past. So I'm like, okay, this is a funny idea of like, instead of just recording a video of me complaining about meta glasses, what if I like recorded a video of me asking a meta user what it's like to wear meta glasses every day? And it's a POV version of like what their glasses are seeing of me. So it's like an open letter to a meta glasses wearer, but I'm like, Are you recording me right now? Is is that on? Do you wear those when you go to the bathroom? Is
I
Facebook watching
I
you while
always
you're
take them off or I do this because I'm like somebody's going to know what it is, but most people don't. but I always feel like I gotta put them up, or I feel like I gotta put them in my pocket because sometimes I forget, and I feel super weird, like in the airport bathroom, but I forgot to take off my metas. I'm like, somebody's gonna call cops on you because they just tripping. So
Well, and
and
I'm like,
they're
all right.
heavy, so it's kind of hard to put on the top of your head. It always starts going like this. Oh,
Well, I
I was
can't
just thinking
imagine
about that
like if
yesterday.
you're wearing those every day as your daily driver and their prescription and you're going to the gym. What?
Yeah,
That's
mine are
really,
prescription, but they I don't wear them every day like that. But yeah, that's funny.
but like
And
that's
I
the
just
kind of
looked today
content.
at changing my prescription back out to put back the regular lenses for the simple reason that I don't want to rely on having to use them as my glasses. I just want to use them as a camera.
Yeah, so that's like the content I'm making where it's like it's goofy, it's a rant style content, but then
They're funny though.
I think through the concepts and I ask friends like for feedback before I publish anything because that's like one of the only times where I've gone back and I've re-recorded. Normally I have enough from my initial recording to be like this is funny, but sometimes I'll look at the edit and be like, this is such a funny concept and it's not landing. And I think
Hmm.
it's just the delivery. Like, let me ask someone what they see in this video and what they think, like how they think it would be funnier. Like, truly, your videos are only going to ever be as good as the community you allow to help you. I like really believe that. Um, because when you look at like the biggest publications and the biggest media networks, they have rooms of writers who are all pitching 10 to 20 ideas off of each other. Like every SNL that happens isn't just one idea that someone wrote a skit for. It's a room of people writing a skit with the funniest ideas coming together into the funniest things. And sometimes it falls flat. A lot of times it falls flat. But there's
Yes.
always one skit a night that is repurposable for social media on Sunday. And so
Yes.
when you think about it from that perspective, it shifts the way that your content process works because you have a community of peers that you can say, hey, I just need a gut check on this. I know this is funny, but I don't think it's being delivered right. Have I lost the plot in the story that I'm telling? Or did I never tell the story right to begin with?
Yo, I just double checked it because I knew the answer, but I had to make sure I was telling the truth. SNL, you see 11 skits. They record 40. You see 11 skits, one of which is Weekend Update automatically, and the opener, but they record 40. How is that? Before they come up with the final 11. So the idea that you not being on TV for 51 years, not with some of the most elite writers in the planet, are going to come out with home runs every time. And out of that 11, no cap, bro, 8 of them are Dookie. But the 3 that land, yo, they're legendary. They're sweaty balls to this day. You still cracking up, right? There's I'm gonna be diamond, right? Still rolling to this very day. Like you see
The
that
Vice
sucker,
Crystals.
yeah. You see them years later and they still hit. Like that's what oh my God, I really love that. That's a good way to think about it. And if you can let go the idea of trying to hit a home run every time, you release part of the pressure of trying to hit a home run every time. And then that's when you actually hit home runs.
And
And
also, if people hit home runs every time, do you think we would even have outfield positions?
nope, it would be boring. The game would exactly be boring. Like 100%. I mean, even if you're not a sports ball person, if you watch the last 2 innings of the most recent World Series, you'd be like, I kind of get why baseball people are baseball people. I was talking to Jacob yesterday. He's a sports coordinator, sports marketing coordinator for Creighton University, and we were talking about the game yesterday. And he says, yeah, his wife will never sit through a baseball game, but she like watched Game 7 like she's been baseball her whole life because it was so. This is crazy. Even as a non-sports ball person, Game 7 had like 9 1 in a billion occurrences in a single game. That just doesn't happen. Like legit crazy. The one that I thought of after the fact LA won, Toronto lost. Kendrick, Drake. Yo, come on, son. Come on, son. Like I didn't even think about that during the game, but yeah, like it's really good. And because at the end, Dodgers posted on social media, they still not like us, and it said world champions. And I was like, dirty. They dragged them across the wet baseball field. All right, so let's. I like this idea of staying curious. I like the idea of making it fun, but let's get seriously unserious for a second. How do they keep showing up, Kleb?
Okay, so the way that my people show up every week is I like okay, let me pause. How do they show up or how do like they have retention with their audience?
No, I mean they like in you. They show up like well,
Yeah.
like
Okay, I literally on my wall have a giant sticky note right now from last week, and I organize all the things that I want to do in a physical sticky note, and it's divided into three categories. It's make, play, release. And
love it.
so I have a list of things that I want to make this week, a list of things that I want to do this week. So like if I'm reading the one from the other week, it's I wanted to do I was doing a my first ever stand-up show. I wanted to promote that. I wanted to create a video that was promoting a coffee shop I went to that my friends just opened. I wanted to do a record a monologue for I have a segment in my newsletter called Shark Tank, and it's where we share bad business ideas instead of good business ideas.
Oh
Um,
God, I love it.
and then I wanted to do a recording of a like the general monologue that I did, and I needed to record a YouTube long video. So that was my make category for play. It's different than what y'all think because I'm not just like, how do I play on camera? It's like actually how do I go outside and be a human? So
Mm.
I'm like, I have a Dochi concert. I want to spend some time just drawing on my iPad for fun. I want to take 15 minutes to go on a walk without my phone and take pictures with my camera. I want to like spend an hour before bed one night reading a book. And then for the release, I have 2 to 3 newsletters scheduled. Um, I wanted to start posting some of my old newsletter content on Substack. Um, and that's all I got done, but I wanted to like schedule stuff and I had like a bunch of like makeup trial out and errors that I needed to do before I went on Halloween. And then at the very bottom of the page, I write my mantra. So that week's mantra was, I will run towards my fears so that I see that failure is far from the end of my story. And I just write whatever I think of for my
I
mantra.
like this. I like this. It's funny. I think that this is how you can tell when you're down. Everything is going good, and then of course you hit a brick wall. And so what you do is you go to the interweb and you start looking for other creators that's going to give you some sort of inspo. But all it does is sort of inspire you to have retrospection on yourself and start comparing yourself to where they are in the journey. And then the creator, myself, Caleb, Mary Lou, Paul, Gretchen, whomever, says something that is quote unquote cliche, and you label it as cliche. Now you're listening wrong. You know why that is cliche? Because it works. It's cliche because it's right. And the minute you hear something cliche and you go, oh my God, that's so cliche, you are already looking the wrong way. You're looking for reasons why you can't do instead of finding reasons why you can. And it's funny because I see it all the time. Someone will make this really dope video trying to get you back in your game, and they're saying all the right things. And then you go and you look at the chat, and it's like, oh, this person just says the same thing over and over again. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think Steve Kerr tells to Steph Curry and the Warriors? Go out there, make baskets, play defense. He tells them that every day. How many championships do they got? Not more than the Celtics. I just need to remind y'all that. Hey, but it's like, yo, the reason why it's cliche is because it works, right? The reason why you get up every day, wash your teeth, brush your ass, and then you do that thing and repeat, a whole year is because it works. So, like, yeah, you got to really stop. If any of this is hitting you like, oh, that sounds so easy, but I can't, like, you're already losing. Like, the minute you hear that stuff and you go there, you're already losing. And I saw one yesterday that just kind of broke my heart. This girl did this really cool video, and it's called Alone Friday Night in Tokyo. So she just got off of work, and her husband's on a business trip. So she's not talking because, she speaks Japanese and she's reaching the world audience. So she subtitled everything, and she's walking, going through the subway, telling you about, some of the craziness, how crowded it is, whatever. And then there's somebody who was like, "Oh my God, this is so inspiring. Thank you for sharing your loneliness journey. There's a lot of lonely people out there." This girl only has 19,000 subs, but she had 280,000 views on that video. Why? Because there's a whole bunch of people in the world on a Friday night by themselves. And so she's letting them see themselves. And then come the a-holes that come in and like, oh, this is fake. She's just faking it. Like, how did she get a shot of her doing something if she's by herself? Easily, dummy. She went in, she put the camera down, she turned it on, she went back out, closed the door, she opened the door back up again to tell the story. This is what vloggers been doing since day one, which is why I hate it, because I normally won't do that. And I'm just too lazy to do that. And the shot where you wake up, I am too lazy to do the shot where you wake up. I'm also pretty sure that Small don't want me to put camera in the bedroom and act like I'm waking up. Like, I'm sure, I'm just pretty positive. That's not gonna fly in my house. Me getting kicked in the face or something. So it's funny that the people that went straight to the negative and like, oh, she's faking it, and oh, YouTube must be paying her a lot of money to pretend that she's sad on the internet. And I'm just like, bruh, if you find yourself in that level of negativity, stop what you're doing and go read a Caleb newsletter. Figure out how to go have fun again.
I think for me, and not to sound woo-woo, but when I stopped,
Ain't nothing wrong with sounding woo woo, girl.
listen,
Get it.
when I
Get it.
stopped distrusting the world around me, things opened up for me. Like when I stopped believing that people are just posting stuff and lying and what's it called? Positioning or like posturing themselves on the
Posturing.
internet,
Yes.
it made the internet more enjoyable for me. When I stopped believing that my failures were like going to derail my success, it made failure more fun for me. When I stopped believing that the right things would happen to me at the right time, it made me more willing to take risks. Like literally the other day, I was leaving New Jersey from a bachelorette trip, and there was a group that was going to go shopping. That group included everybody that was in the car on the way to the airport back for me. And there was another group that was going to go get breakfast. I said, I'm going to go with the group to get breakfast. And all the people in the car were like, we're going to miss the flight because you're getting breakfast. I'm like, by the time you come back, my breakfast is going to be at the table. I'm going to have eaten it and I'm going to be ready to get in the car. And they said, there's no way, like that place is historically fast. They called me. I had just taken the first bite of my breakfast, and by the time they got in the car and got to me, my breakfast was done. We got in the car, we drove an hour, and everybody was still anxious about missing the flight, and then our flight was delayed. So it's like, not to sound woo-woo, but I just know, well, first of all, I know my flight's going to be delayed because I fly American.
You fly
But
American. That's automatic.
but the second thing is like I know that we're going to be fine. Like if my flight were to get delayed, I have friends in New Jersey and I have friends in New York that I can go stay with. I also am like, there's, I'm flying out of New Jersey and New York. There's another flight I can get on the same day to get to Charlotte. And the worst case scenario is that I'm hungry the whole time. So if I solve the hunger problem, I'm really going to be sad for the rest of the day.
Correct.
Like those are the things where I'm
Correct.
like, if I just trust that the world around me is actually working to make me be the best version of myself, and I'm working to make myself the best version of myself, then everything else is kind of going to fall into place. I have to believe that because otherwise everything is so much more depressing.
Correct. It again, it's so easy. And everybody was always talking about like the social media and this and that, and I'm like, fam, I've been telling a lot of people, I've been sending choke people the link to reset your algorithm on IG and how to reset your algorithm on YouTube. I'm like, if it's depressing you, reset your algorithm, bro. You're being fed too much things that you don't need to see right now. So just straight up reset them, and then you're
Or
good to
like
go.
if you don't want to reset your whole algorithm, one thing that's really changed the way that I engage on social media and the way that I actually this is like part of the play mentality I have. I've stopped being on the internet not so much because the internet is fun to an extent. When I binge watch TV, when I binge consume content on social media, it's harder for me to create the next day because I'm not stopping and taking inspiration. I'm just consuming. I'm literally binge eating inspiration. And it's
Yes,
just as bad for you as overeating food. So
binge eating ice cream.
so what I've started doing, you can't see, but behind this piece of paper I have an entire mural wall that's just uh bunch of zines that I'd never looked at. I went through and I just ripped them all up. All the photos I liked out of them, I cut them up and I hung them on my wall. I started saving TikTok videos that made me laugh. I started downloading Instagram reels that made me laugh. I started screenshotting Instagram posts that I wanted to recreate or wanted to pull inspiration from the next time I went on a walk or next time I did a photo shoot of myself. I started commenting on videos that actually I enjoyed or I found inspirational. I started like direct messaging and finding smaller accounts that were similar to me and engaging with their Instagram stories because it actually creates a community that's worth me being on the internet for instead of me
Correct.
doom scrolling on the internet. Because one
Correct.
thing I loved about the internet when it came out and this social media aspects of the world started happening was that all my friends were on there and we were all having fun together. But then influencers started making a influencers started making a ton of money off the internet, and so everybody started posturing so that they could start making money on the internet, and then it ruined social media. And so the reality is most people aren't going to make that much money on the internet. I hope that you do, but I hope before anything that you return to putting your humanity first on the internet because it's what makes the internet special. It's what the internet was designed for in terms of social media, and it's the only thing that AI can't do.
Correct. Be human.
So when you start commenting real comments, when you start engaging by replying to stories, when you start doing all of those things, it shows people on your Instagram app that, hey, this person does more than just scroll and post. This person's real and they're worth engaging with, and they show up for me when I show up for them.
Bingo.
So why wouldn't you do those things?
Bingo. This is so old school advice. Gary wrote this in the very first book. But I tell my community every time, bro, if you see a video and it hits you and you don't comment, that is a professional sausage move. That is a full stamp eggplant move. If you see a video that hits you and you like, damn, that was dope, and you don't stop and comment, rude. You just stealing from this person. Because although the rhythm has changed a little bit so that it's very focused on people's interest, you know what feels good sometimes when you step out and somebody be like, damn, see, I see you did your hair. I like the way it looks. Right? Like, you didn't do it for me to say, I like the coif. You did it because you felt like doing it. You change it every 2 weeks. I'm jealous. I can't change mine. I got this one style. This is all I got. But it feels good when I see somebody with fresh kicks. I'd be like, damn, I like your kicks. Like I always, like say that kind of stuff. And I think that people that look at a video and like that was good, and you share the video. If you share the video without commenting, a hole. I'm gonna just say it. Please take the time because this person is getting the hate comments, and that's affecting them. So you watched it enough to like it, to then turn around and share it. Stop and add a comment And I'm always saying that. And so I'm so glad you said that, especially when they just starting out. I know a lot of people think, well, the big people, they're not going to see it. Hey, the comment ain't for them sometimes. Sometimes the
Also,
comment is for other commenters.
yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. I go viral on TikTok every week in the damn comment section.
Holla back. Me
Because
too.
I'm writing funny captions and I'm writing funny comments. And my favorite creators actually see them and engage with them because I'm funny and I'm worth like engaging with. So if you never comment, the big creators are never going to see you. And then another thing also, the more localized your For You page is, the higher chance you will see a creator at a coffee shop that you love or somewhere that you like. And if you don't go up and talk to them and say, hey, I see your videos on TikTok. They come across my For You page, and I just want to commend you because it's really hard to make the algorithm human these days and start out small. I'm creating videos on the internet too, and I just want to say when I like watching your videos.
Thank you.
That's so powerful in the
Power.
way that community works. And it's like such a localized level of like, I want people in my community to make videos about what they eat for lunch. I do. I want to see it because the more influencers go on the apps and post, the more they get paid to go to restaurants and post. And the harder it is for me to find real recommendations. So when regular people like you and me create stuff on the internet, being honest about what we think, it makes it easier for everybody else to have real, authentic community building experiences, which will solve like 90% of the world's issues.
Oh,
Like,
thank you.
real community is what solves real life problems.
Straight.
Like, when people are in need, they reach out to their friends. But if we are always on the internet, scrolling and not leaving a comment, scrolling and not replying to Instagram stories, or not saying something to someone that we have a compliment to share with, people will never make friends again. It
Facts.
sounds dark and crazy, but the way the internet works and the way that society works right now is that life is so online that if you don't take a second to get out of your comfort zone and address people in a way that is uncomfortable, it is way, way, way harder than it's ever been to make friends. And it's more important than ever to have friends when because there are people that are in need of food, like especially right now, there are people that are in need of just basic human decency that it's harder to get than it's ever been because of the way
Yep.
the internet works. And
Just,
I'm
hey,
not
fam, you
even
good.
trying to I'm getting on my soapbox, but I'm doing it in a way that is so kind. I just want you to remember that the way that the internet used to work and the way that social media used to work is that it used to be social. And if you're not using it socially, it's just media and it's no different than consuming something on Disney Plus.
Dude, so good. So good. You said something, I just double checked it. I commented on a person's video last week and it says 162 people liked that comment and it started a comment chain on that particular video. So when you say going viral in the comments, that's my new fun right now is attempting to go viral in the comments. And it was just I said something that was, I backed up what they said because I had lived in Japan too, and it was just really funny. And man, I love that, and it really just helped that person feel like, okay, I'm making a dent. Like what I said mattered. And sometimes if a lot of people are commenting on a video, the platform will surface that video for more people to see. So you're genuinely helping the person out. When people say hit the like button, some people say, well, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. I tell you what does matter when the creator looks down at their video and it has 2,000 likes on it. It matters. Like it takes a lot, because you do it, it takes a lot of work to make content. I feel like the nasty people are always the people that don't make content. You
This
know what I mean? So
video
we
that
got to
I
protect each other by being nice to each other and saying, even if you can do nothing else, hit the freaking like button, dog. But I mean, if you could take a second, and I do, I make comments now with my voice. I got whisper flow. I can leave detailed comments with whisper flow, and it's good. So
I
do
left a
that.
comment at the middle of October. Right now it has 14,600 likes. And all I
Gangster.
commented was, You can upload 45-minute TikToks, and this person's 45-minute TikTok has 1 million views.
Shut the front door.
It's like,
Good Lord.
hey, that's crazy. And all I did was just gut react how I felt it about seeing that there was a 45-minute video from this creator. And all of the comments that were response to me were like, I watched the Cheetah Girls on here. I watched like, okay, sorry, I wasn't going to TikTok cinema. Like, I don't
Yo,
know.
I think people don't understand. Outside of the US, a lot of people, this is their only TV. In the US, we got, 65 inch Sony somewhere, but most people, this is their TV. I was talking about this yesterday on the thing. We got to end this show. I got another stream to do, man. We can sit here and do this all day. We got to have Caleb part two. How do people find you?
Okay, if you want to be on my newsletter, it's goofy and it's unprofessional, and I don't tell you how to play. I just play. You can go there. It's just unserious.club. I am making content that's more about like how to play and how I play at work every day. That's on LinkedIn. You can just find me on LinkedIn. It's linkedin.com/in Demps, Caleb Dempsey on LinkedIn. Follow me. If you send a connection request, I will not accept it if I don't know you. Follow me. You can see my posts that way, but I will not add you as a connection. Peace and love.
Oh, that is so good. Okay, listen, fam. I'm going to remind you that if you're jumping into the whole podcasting game, we do have a free podcasting course. It is really good, if I do say so myself, Jay Z, because I recorded it along with Katie and that dude Luis, who pops up in the circle sometimes. And it is available to easily be updated. So when new stuff happens, we'll update it. But it is really cool. It's a lot of fun. It really gets you started. And if you've been sitting on this fence about starting a podcast, like right now, family, no better time than the present. And I say that every time because it just keeps getting better. But you're going to really need to stop because at one point, it's not going to be a better time. And I just noticed this week, like 7 more celebrities just started their own channels. And all of y'all who be sitting on your thing, y'all have no idea. Now that college athletes have the image likeness, man, I forget the name of it. But now that college athletes can make money on their own personal likeness, yo, a whole bunch of them are coming to YouTube. And their whole content is I got up, I made a smoothie, I went to class, I worked out, I went to practice, getting ready for the game. And they're getting millions because everybody wants that insight. So these are attention opportunities to get taken away. But for every one of those dudes that jumps on, there's people like Caleb and Katie and Jill who go, ooh, sports ball. And they don't want to see that. So they need to see a normal person. That's you. That's you. uh, this will be the last episode of The Flow till the first of the year. Um, oh, now Paul over here dropping bad news.
Bom,
Anyway,
bom.
this joint has been brought to you by Shore. We absolutely love Shore. We Shore like Shore. So if you need to find yourself a microphone, you want to be nice, you want to show up looking good and sounding good, go and check out Shore at shore.com. It is the microphone of choice when it comes to doing the flow. And again, you can't go wrong with 100 years of microphone making know-how. So go and check out Shore at shore.com and tell them that Doc and Caleb sent you. Hey, LD. Also, we want to send a big, big reminder to you that if you want to find out more about the show, come and be a guest, subscribe to the back catalog, go to flow.ecamm.com. That's FLOWECA with 2 M's.com, and it will allow you to connect this sucker to get your podcast wherever podcast getting is got. Once again, thank you for being a member of the Flow Riders. Thank you, Caleb, for coming through and just dropping some absolute knowledge. This was phenomenal. Yeah, we're gonna get you on Unstuck. So Mary Lou and I are getting into our guest season. We got Bobby Vegas coming up next week, so we'll get you in soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're starting to bring folks on, so I'm excited.
You know
We'll
how to find me.
definitely. I know exactly what coffee shop to look for you at. I gotta. I'm gonna call every coffee shop in Charlotte until y'all seen Caleb? Oh no, they're not here today. They went to this other shop. Okay, Keisha, what? You seen Caleb? Oh no, they went to get another tattoo. Damn. All right, call another shop. I'm gonna call Friends Tattoo. Hey, you seen Caleb? Oh yeah, they getting their hand tattooed right now. Says I love Doc. All right, that's gangster. You know what we say, people? Flow riders out.